It's a called a DJI Osmo 4. It's a 4K camera, gyro stabilized. And it's just a little something. Commercially available. Mm-hmm. A lot of the news photographers got them like a year or two ago because it doesn't shoot quite as well as the big cameras, but it's pretty good. And it's a lot easier to use in a car and that kind of thing. KP, do you have one of those? Do you have one of those DJIs?
No.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Changes the air.
Yeah, they're like $1,000 maybe. Yeah. These cameras are like 50,000.
Yeah.
That's a small.
Those are big boys. Oh, I love it.
This is the order of the run of show.
Great.
Feel free to hold this up if you guys want to.
That's a good one.
Right? Yeah. When I started in TV, it was 1985, graduated from Washington State, and it was a camera like that, but then also we had a big recording case that we carried and a light belt that looked like a scuba diver's belt. It was awful. But nobody cared because, you know, at least we were working. Okay, well, if the DA arrives, we'll start. I got a question, an email question from one of the stations asking two things. One, so if he's sentenced to life but gets a parole review in 25 years, does that mean he's eligible for parole in 25 years? I think it's yes, but it's not the same as being let out, of course.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, does the 3 years he's already been in jail count?
Yes.
So he'll actually be up 22 years from now.
Yes. That would be true whether we went to, whether there was a plea or trial.
Yeah,
We
okay.
didn't deny that credit for time served.
Okay. Did you guys get that, or do you care? Do you want me to say it in the mic so you can record it?
I think having it in the mind, the producers aren't going to be listening to anything that happens before.
Okay, I'll say it as all as part of our intro.
Yeah.
The mic is off right now. Do you want to test it?
No, we were just wondering. We were just wondering about.
So I put the blue tape on to remind myself the mic is off. We don't want any live mic incidents accidentally.
I mean, just assume our NAT mics are also picking up anything in this room.
I guess that's true, yeah. Anything you say can and will be used
It's a
against
pretty
you.
small room, so.
Yeah.
100% would be.
Not as small as the office.
Mm-hmm. Every time.
Andrew, thank you for shaving.
There are some people, a couple people encouraged me to not.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I thought it's a good Oregon look.
yeah.
And frankly, I'm very jealous of your ability to grow a beard like that.
My husband is also jealous.
Do
you want us all up there?
I think so, yeah. We'll have you standing on both sides. You don't have to yet.
You do if you're willing.
Yeah, for sure.
Doing your retiree hire. Is that are you full time?
And once Nathan comes in, could one of you guys kick that door closed? That'll just keep us from getting audio. He'll have a badge. I guess he can get himself in.
We'll have whoever let the door fire.
Yeah.
sometime later.
Mhm.
So Mike, I think Mike got his pizza.
Mhm.
And then I waited for the pizza to come before I left.
I mean, there was no rush at that point.
I'm hungry.
There was really no rush.
I'm gonna get a meeting again. We went to our offices yesterday, and then I talked with them like 30 minutes. We
Mhm.
get to my door, I'm like, what's going on? I was kind of like, well, the new DP.
Talk freely amongst yourselves. He says it'll be 5 minutes.
3.5 years later.
Right.
I'm just reading some DPs.
Mhm.
It was also kind of a, oh gosh,
Yeah.
that week was just,
Chaos.
yeah.
Pat, are you a loyal Coug fan still?
A loyal what fan?
Coug fan?
Yes.
Better than
Although,
Husky.
are you a Coug?
No, my wife.
I mean, they break my heart all the time. And then playing in the lower league now, not the Big Ten, it's kind of like, okay, well, that was fun.
I think I like them more than my wife.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
I like them in the beach
Mm-hmm.
roll over it.
Yeah. I was there in 83 or 4 when Chuck Nelson missed a field goal at the end of the game, and it knocked the Huskies out of the Rose Bowl. It was so awesome. Tore down the goalpost. I didn't. People I saw
You're
did.
outside the statute of limitations, it's okay. You participated.
Was that pre Mike Price?
Yeah, I think that was Dennis Erickson.
Was it
That might have been, yeah.
Dennis
Were
Erickson.
you Coug as well?
I'm a Beaver, but
Okay.
we also had Dennis Erickson a little later.
Yeah. Well, my dad worked at the University of Washington. I grew up in the Seattle area, so we would have house divided parties. We had a chimney in the basement, we had a fireplace, and he would paint half of it Cougar colors, half of it Husky colors.
That's amazing. That we team.
That's serious.
Yeah, it's fun, super fun.
All right, you ready to get rolling?
Yep. Either I can read this or you, just sort of a who's here.
Why
and
don't
what-
you go right ahead?
Okay. All right, folks, here we go. Thanks for joining us today. We're talking about the resolution of a case with a man named Mohamed Adan. Joining us today, we'll have District Attorney Nathan Vasquez, also Deputy DA Kenzie Ludwig. Kenzie had some of the earlier cases when this was domestic violence and related that way. Also Detective Rico Beniga from Portland Police, right here. He's probably not going to speak, but he was the main player in this case, the reason that it was investigated so well, and this man was brought to justice. Also, we have Deputy DA Andrew McMillan here. He handled most of the murder case along with Senior Deputy District Attorney Melissa Marrero here to my left. So they'll each have statements to make to you, and then we'll do Q&A. Here we go.
Well, good morning and thank you for being here. Yesterday, Mr. Mohamed Adan was sentenced to life in prison for the brutal murder of Racheal Abraham, who we know as Jamila. To be clear, he murdered her in front of her young children. This was a truly horrific and traumatic crime. The life sentence that he received cannot undo the unimaginable harm he has caused by this murder, nor can it erase the trauma inflicted upon his children who witness their mother die at the hands of someone who should have never been free. This woman repeatedly reached out for help. The violence she endured was known. This office fought to protect her. Court records showed a documented pattern of escalating abuse, including repeated acts of strangulation, one of the strongest predictors of future homicide in domestic violence cases. Despite that clear danger, the defendant was released from custody by a group known as the Portland Freedom Fund. I want to be clear. I am sickened and outraged that this group chose to bail out the defendant. That reckless decision had real-world consequences. This was not a low-risk individual, someone that just needed a second chance. This was someone with a documented history of severe violence against the very person he ultimately murdered. Bail decisions are not abstract policy debates. They are life and death choices. When organizations step in to secure the release of an individual like Mr. Adan, without regard for that documented risk, victims suffer, and in this case, children pay the price. Today, we honor the victim, Jamila, by speaking the truth about what happened, by holding that person that committed the crime fully accountable to that life in prison sentence. We also owe it to her and her children and to every survivor of domestic violence to say plainly, as a community, we have to do better. Public safety and victim safety must come first, every time. My office will continue to prosecute violent offenders. We will continue to stand with victims. We will fight for their families and their children. And we'll speak out when we see decisions that put people's lives at risk. I can say without reservation that I am proud of the men and women here today that fought so hard in this case, that stood up for the victim, that when the system failed, didn't stop, continued to work. Detective Beniga with Portland Police worked long and hard to make sure that this came to light, to make sure that he was held accountable. The men and women of my office were in court day in, day out, fighting hard. And this is something that I know has left an indelible mark upon these individuals, upon our community, and of course, upon her children who will live with this for the rest of their life. I'm going to turn this over at this time to Deputy DA Kinsey Ludwig.
So I was the initial prosecutor on the felony strangulation cases that were prosecuted prior to her death. I had the great honor of meeting Racheal. She is somebody who you instantly were gravitated towards. And often in domestic violence cases, victims are very much still trapped in the cycle. It takes 6 or 7 times before they'll actually leave a very violent situation. But my first conversation with Racheal was open, and she was very receptive. She listened to me and the statistics surrounding strangulation leading to homicide, which is reflected in her statement that she provided to the court when she wanted him to be held with bail. And she was very unique and special. She did everything that we asked of her and more. I could not have been more grateful for her being so kind and receptive to the information versus being closed off, which is what we see in these situations so often. Again, she just was kind. She was smart. She was generous. She loved her children. She absolutely was a mom who was struggling in a violent situation, but was doing everything possible to provide for her daughters. She was in constant communication with our office, with DHS. You know, she never did anything that made me question that she was putting herself or her children at risk, because she was so open and honest with us throughout the entire process. It was an honor to be her advocate when she was alive. It was an honor to be the advocate for the children and still be their advocate. And I hope that she and her legacy continue to live on in showing how important it is to take these types of cases seriously, and that we have all the ability to really get in very early on and disrupt the violent behavior. because we could have really could have saved her. And she's absolutely going to live on forever as one of the most amazing humans that I've ever been able to meet. So, thank you.
Next is Andrew.
Good morning. My name is Andrew McMillan. I'm a deputy DA. I've been working on this case since this brutal murder on August 27th of 2022. As was stated, we were able to secure convictions after Mr. Adan pled guilty to numerous charges. Those charges include murder in the second degree constituting domestic violence, 2 counts of felony strangulation constituting domestic violence, violation of a no contact order, and then DUII, felon in possession of a firearm, and felony attempt to elude. After these convictions, Mr. Adan was sentenced to life in prison. He will be eligible to petition the parole board for post-prison supervision, release from prison after he serves 25 years of prison. But that would be up to him. That's his petition. And then ultimately the parole board would have to approve that release. Even in 25 years or longer, if he were to be released, he would still be on post-prison supervision for the remainder of his life. And it's important to note that if he were to do anything out of line, commit new crimes, he could be picked back up and sent back to prison. A lot of considerations go through our office when we're deciding whether or not to resolve a case through a pretrial offer or go to trial. One thing that we take very seriously is contacting victims' families in murder cases. They're a partnership when we prosecute a case. And in this case, we spoke to the family members, and all of them shared the same sentiment, that they believe that Mr. Adan should serve the longest prison sentence possible. But they also recognized the importance of securing a conviction, avoiding any potential risks that a trial could bring. Also, they understood the finality of a plea agreement versus a trial where we may get guilty convictions, but the inevitable appeals could last decades and could lead us back to a situation where we have to retry a case many years later. And another important thing about this case is very critical witnesses, as was alluded to earlier, are children that witnessed this brutal murder in the home. I believe at the time there was a 3-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 7-year-old. What we were prepared to do, certainly reluctantly, was to have those children testify in court. It was something that was necessary for the prosecution of this case, but certainly something that we took very seriously and wanted to avoid if we could reach a reasonable resolution to resolve this case without a trial. And here we secured a life sentence for Mr. Adan, and avoiding those kids having to be re-traumatized by testifying about what they witnessed on August 27, 2022 was very important. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Melissa Marrero. I'm the Senior Deputy District Attorney who prosecuted the case alongside Mr. DDA McMillan. I'm going to echo a lot of what's already been said here, but I think it is worth saying twice. This never should have happened. Mohamed Adan should not have been out of custody. He should not have had the opportunity to hurt, to terrorize, to frighten, to intimidate, or to brutally murder Racheal Abraham. Racheal, or as those closest to her referred to her, Jamila, was loved. She was a sister. She was a daughter. She was a friend. Perhaps most importantly, she was a loving and devoted mother. Her life mattered. The lives of her children matter. And it was taken from her in a way that is absolutely inexcusable and was absolutely avoidable. The fact that the public safety professionals involved in this case were well aware of and made known to the court and through public records to the community of the dangers posed by Mohamed Adan, and the fact that the Portland Freedom Fund took it upon themselves to bail him out, notwithstanding those known risks, is absolutely inexcusable, and it cost Racheal Abraham her life. The risks of lethality, the risks of a case turning to homicide in domestic violence cases is well studied. It is understood by the experts, and this is information that was provided not only generally speaking, and is not only known generally speaking by our courts and by prosecutors who work these types of cases, it was highlighted in this particular case. Anybody paying attention to this case would have known the risk posed to Jamila by Mr. Adan were he to be let out of custody, and it was completely ignored. This killing was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. Racheal died by strangulation, but not before she was significantly assaulted. There were grievous injuries to her face from knives, her extremities, various parts of her body. The crime scene was horrific. This was not the way that she should have had her life ended. This was not the way she should have gone, and her children should never have been present to see such an atrocity. I want to sincerely thank everybody who was involved in this case. Detective Beniga and his team did an incredible job in investigating this for us, and we appreciate them and their work so much. I want to specifically thank DDA Kenzie Ludwig for her help and her serious and dedicated attempts to save Racheal while she was still alive and still with us. There are certain cases that stick with you as a prosecutor. This one will stick with all of us, but I know in particular it stuck with Kenzie because she had the opportunity to meet and to know Racheal, and she was working on the ground with our agency partners to ensure her safety. And unfortunately, due to actions of others who thought they knew better, those attempts, those actions were undercut, and it resulted in an absolute tragedy. I also want to thank DDA McMillan for the work that he did on this case. This was a long process. The homicide occurred in August of 2022. We are now at the very end of 2025. That is a long process for anyone. And so finally, I want to thank the family of Jamila. I want to thank her friends, those who stepped in to assist the children after this terrible murder occurred, her family who has stuck with us for the years that this case has taken to come to resolution, for their understanding and their grace, for their compassion towards Racheal and the situation she was in, for the efforts that they made to try and save her while she was still with us. We are so deeply sorry for your loss. It was important to the family and those closest to Racheal that she not be remembered only for the brutal murder that took her life. Racheal, as I mentioned earlier, was a sister, a mother, a daughter, a friend. She was creative, she was compassionate, she was fun. She was a talented henna artist. She was a mentor to those around her. She was described as a light, and she is deeply, deeply missed by her community, by her family, and by her children. We'll continue to honor her legacy and her life by continuing to do this hard work, by continuing to fight against domestic violence and to stand up for survivors, by continuing to hold accountable the offenders who would do them harm, and by recognizing the complex nature of relationships and domestic violence, and notwithstanding those complexities, continuing to do everything we can to keep every victim as safe as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Anybody have any questions for the crowd? Sure, go ahead.
For the DA, you said earlier that we have to do better. I'm just wondering if you could elaborate on that. What could be done to prevent future situations like this?
First and foremost is not having groups come in and supplant their judgment and just make these reckless types of decisions that where we see them releasing someone who has such a known pattern of violence against a victim, and then where ultimately he murdered her. So that's, I think, certainly step one. I know this office is dedicated to doing everything we can when we see individuals engaged in violent criminal behavior to seeing them held in custody. Certainly we want our judges to recognize the danger of domestic violence, of strangulation, to make the appropriate decisions and hold people. We will continue to advocate for that and to educate out in the community. And it's certainly, domestic violence is a community issue. It's something that we have to raise awareness to. There are many wonderful organizations within our community, such as the Bradley Engel House, that work so hard to help survivors. And so as a community, we need to come together and stand with survivors.
Why was he not simply denied bail back in 2022? Can you address that, please?
That particular charge was a bailable charge. We requested a higher bail amount. And certainly, I know that we argued for those higher bail amounts. Ultimately, it was the judge's decision to set the bail at that particular amount. And then once that bail amount is set, this is a situation where in Oregon, an individual can post 10%, or, as we've seen, a group stepped in. Even though bail bondsmen are not allowed in Oregon, they essentially acted in that fashion and bailed him out.
And that kind of gets to my next question, that it sounds like systemically, like nothing's changed, like this could happen again, and you're basically saying that we hope it doesn't?
No.
Can you address if anything's changed?
Yes.
To keep this from happening?
I can tell you that the directive from my office has been to, when we can, seek preventative detention. That was a tool that was not widely known or used, at least back in 2022. It's something that when we look at these cases, we're trying to find any avenue we can to have individuals held through that preventative detention. I know that some of the attorneys here have been down, that you're seeing before you, have been down at the legislature advocating both for changes in our release laws to strengthen those, but also around domestic violence and improving the laws around domestic violence, which I do believe we need to strengthen. We need to look at specifically when we talk about strangulation. What we've seen through time is that has went from a misdemeanor, where it used to be, to now it's a felony. And so it's something that we will continue to fight and work on.
So just to summarize, you're saying that what's changed is like the particular things he's accused of. If he was accused of them now, he would more likely to have been not eligible for release.
Certainly we would be advocating for that. Yeah, I mean, it's ultimately going to be a decision that the court makes, but it's something that we would be advocating to be held.
Are there any other changes you think need to be made to this broader system? Because, we're talking about an organization coming in. It certainly could have been a family member. Coming and bailing him out. Like, why?
I think the bail laws do need to change. It's something that I have spoken out on repeatedly, that I believe our bail laws are out of step, that there were a lot of changes made under Senate Bill 48 and others that radically changed our bail laws, and it's time we need to get back into balance. We need a corrective action to get us into a safer place. We will continue to advocate that community safety and the safety of survivors and victims needs to come first, but I believe the law needs to come a long ways to recognize that as well.
Does your office have any examples since this homicide took place where you have sought preventative detention for similar cases or similar charges?
Yes, I know that we've done that on just a whole host and range of cases, but in particular in the area of domestic violence we have, and we've seen significant success in that area.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you everybody for coming. I appreciate it.
Right. Did I hit that last question again? Didn't have a specific case in mind.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. You betcha. Yeah, good questions. Thank you, Detective, for being here. Appreciate it. Good comments, you guys. I thought we were going to do it at 10:30, so I was like, I got here and I was working through my statement. I'm like, oh, it's at 9. Sorry. How old is Adan? Is he 36?
36.
Okay, 26.
I can double check, I believe that's right.
John, what's your last name? Joni. Oh, I'm sorry, Joni Lane. Okay, yeah. Yeah, good to meet you too. Thanks for hustling over and making it.
No worries. Last meeting the day before holidays.
Yeah.
So you don't have anything to do. So.
Yeah, right on. Hey, also, Joni, did you hear me saying that I'll send out pictures of him from court yesterday? If you want them, you can use them.
Yeah, I don't get anybody, so yeah.
Okay.
I think you have Jeff's email, so you can send this to him. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay, we'll do.
Do you have some sheet with the spelling of these people's names?
Yes.
I mean, just get a shot of it.
Okay.
Oh, you too kind, thanks, sir. I'll just get a shot of it.
Okay.
I like hearing that, stay home.
KP, do you think I should be printing that out and handing to everybody? Like a sheet like that? I've wondered about that. All right.
But it's also on tape.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think we have a lot of spellings. I mean, they could probably pick up on the candidates.
Thank you, Kenzie. That Red Bull get you through?
Huh?
Did the Red Bull get you through?
I think it was like the full cathartic cry in the plea yesterday that got me through, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good work on this one. Okay, anybody else want to spell?
Okay. Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay.
That bastards.
How come everybody sent the newsroom pictures except for you, Mike? Because I'm not smart. Okay.
Thank you.
Overachievers.
That's right. Trying to make you look bad. Well, thanks for coming, you guys. I do appreciate it.
I appreciate it. You got me out of having to do cuttings this morning.
Oh, right on. Okay.
Extra hour and a half in the car.
It was interesting watching this crew. You know, I've been with Nathan for lots of interviews, but Melissa on the right, who went on for a while,
Yeah.
I haven't seen her interviewed before, and she had nothing prepared. She was telling me in the hallway, like,
Solid.
oh yeah,
He's clearly,
Does she, I mean, she's talking in front of juries and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's,
she's what they call a senior deputy DA, so she's one of the top dogs.
yeah.
But you don't want. I know, that's the thing. Yeah, took a breath, kept going. I'm like, whoa. Yeah, I couldn't do that. I'd be a puddle, KP. I got that sensitive Irish blood in me.
You got New Year's plans?
I'm gonna watch the Ducks game,
Yeah?
for sure. What else? Take care. How about you?
Like, during the press conference, my dad, no, I don't have a relationship with my dad.
Oh, jeez. Not tight. Uh-huh, yep. I'll be here
Asked me if I had plans tomorrow.
It's like none of your business.
Right? There's too many elephants in our room. Just let's hang out at New Year's Day.
Huh.
You know?
Well, maybe he wants to kill some elephants.
I don't know if I'm ready for that.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Family's complicated.
He breeded those elephants.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, who knows? Maybe he's got
Well,
a diagnosis or something, or he's like, oh, I
well, knowing for my siblings, he contacted my siblings about less than a month ago, asking for money.
Jeez.
And I thought, wow, I feel pretty good. He hasn't come around to ask me for money yet.
Yet. That's too bad.
So,
Okay.
It's an insignificant amount.
Enough of my optimistic hope.
so had that not had been, had the money asking not been in the water,
Yeah.
I thought it's like, he's not asking me because he knows I'm not gonna give him any.
Yeah.
He's not even gonna bother asking me for money.
Mm-hmm. Maybe he changed his mind.
He could-
You're a good kid after all.
Right, you make it mine.
Yeah.
You get a raise at the top of the year?
If he was with your shoulders.
yeah, I tell ya.
What when are you gonna call it quits, Ben?
Anytime, I'm ready.
Well, why don't you?
I will.
Okay, well, let me know so I can come to the party.
All right.
Yeah, forgot about that, sorry, right?
And my body's telling me it's like time.
Yeah, man. Well, you've been doing this a day or two.
Get the hang of it, you know? It's just when I finally got it figured out, then I have to quit.
What year did you start?
It's a different century.
Well,
was
all of us.
It was shortly after Vietnam, I think that he said.
Yeah, I'm looking at you after Vietnam.
I think I got everything, thank you.
Cool, you bet, happy New Year.
You're gonna be a trained killer to do this job, though.
Sure, of course. I feel safer
I
knowing.
only kill the bad guys, though.
Yeah, that's good too.
You started in '84? Or
84 for me, yeah.
94 for me.
Okay.
Like a rookie.
Yeah, right.
I'm the young guy with.
Probably 74 or 64 for KP.
I went to school for it, started in 90, or 74, Montana State, film and TV.
Okay.
My first job was somewhere in the late 70s in Billings, Montana, Boise, Idaho, Salt Lake City, and now here.
Yeah,
So,
you've earned it, pal.
I think so.
Get a rocking chair and sit on the front porch for a bit.
My wife told me to get on that rocket chair.
You know what you need for that? Noise canceling headphones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where did you start out? Did you start out here? Or did you-
No, I started in Wenatchee,
Okay.
and then went to Yakima, and then Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Oh, so you got some good records in here.
Yeah, Wenatchee, Rapid City, Yakima, Green Bay, Portland.
Rapid City.
Yeah, now the kids graduate from U of O, drive through Eugene, and come straight to Portland.
I know, it's like, this is my fifth market.
Yeah.
And you had to fight your way from market 156,
Mm-hmm.
where I started.
Yeah.
You know,
Up to 23, right, whatever.
Now it seems like they're hiring people that have no experience.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah,
yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Which is, yeah, I didn't love being in the small markets, but I knew I could screw up and not get fired.
You know what I've learned is, a lot of filtering happens in the small markets.
Yeah.
Of people that don't make it, and now that filtering isn't happening.
That's a good point, yeah.
Like, ooh, you're not, so you end up with people that realize they don't wanna be in the business,
Mm-hmm.
are now, they're figuring that out here.
Mm-hmm.
And so they only do 2 years and they're out.
Yeah.
And so you're not getting people that are,
The kids who thought it'd be cool to be on TV, and then they see there's a lot of work to be on TV, on the reporter side or the photog side.
yeah, whatever it is,
Yeah.
and they realize, oh, this isn't for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, there's a little bit of that, I've noticed. Like,
Yeah.
well, you wouldn't have gotten out of your second station. You
Uh-huh.
know?
Somebody would have taken you down, or some hospital would have hired you for PR.
Right, you would have figured out this isn't for you, but now they're still figuring it out, they're just,
Yeah.
living in Portland.
And they're younger, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, happy 2026, gentlemen.
Alright.
Spread the word.
I'm gonna be out drinking alcohol around midnight tonight,
Yeah.
getting up at 2:30.
Oh,
I'll say, I'm still gonna wake up at 2 in the morning.
Yeah, 2 in the morning. Gotta help with the old day.
I always do the East Coast, New Year's.
Ball drop,
Eve.
yeah. It's not bad, but way to do it.
I'll be in bed before that.
In my house, we'll be watching a movie. Midnight will come and go before I realize it's happened.
Yeah.
My wife would have sleep the whole time. And I'm like, oh, shit, it's midnight.
There you go.
This week is always that week, like, is there anything I need to do before the end of the year? Yeah, like,
Uh-huh.
any paperwork file?
Yeah.
Like,
I just ordered a new calendar for 26.
Thanks for this new room you have arranged here for us.
You bet, KP, thanks for being the motivator behind it. Yeah, buddy. Take care, man. Okay, bye.
Thank